While your meat is drying, you have time to process the fat. Now, where to get fat is always a question when you're making pemmican. I get my fat for free from my local butcher. Some butchers will charge you a little for the fat, like 50 cents or 99 cents. Many grocery stores, especially big chains, will tell you that they get all their steaks pre-trimmed and that they can't give you any trimmings. So you may need to call around to see which butcher can give you or sell you fat trimmings. The best tasting fat, as far as I'm concerned, comes from the outside of the strip steaks or the ribeye steaks. Now, many customers like their steaks trimmed of all the fat, which is good news for us when we're making pemmican, because that means that we have easy access to delicious fat, which is the most important fuel for the human body. Before processing the fat, you want to preheat your oven to 240 degrees. I find that my pemmican tastes best when I don't let the fat get above 250 degrees. Since my oven runs a little hot, when I set it to 240, the temperature of the fat is about 245 to 246 degrees, and that is ideal for rendering fat. I also use a digital thermometer to control the temperature. I set it to 250, and if it ever reaches that temperature, it will beep and warn me that I need to lower the temperature of my fat. As I mentioned before you render your fat, you're going to want to trim all of the lean pieces that are attached to it. You take your sharp knife and cut. Set these pieces aside along with the fatty pieces that you trimmed from your lean meat. You can saute these for a wonderful quick lunch, or you can give them to your favorite doggy. This is what a piece of trimmed up fat looks like. See, it doesn't have any lean attached to it. Now it is ready to dice up. Cut it into pieces between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch in size. It doesn't have to be a precise measurement, but you do want to have your pieces to be roughly uniform with each other so that they all render in about the same amount of time and you're not left with large clumps of unrendered fat. When they're diced up, you put them in your cast iron pan. Your oven is at 240 degrees. Your pot is full of fat. Now you want to put it in your 240 degree oven and then leave it alone for at least 12 hours. This is what the fat looks like when it has finished rendering. You will see there is lovely tallow and there are cracklings in the middle. You're going to need to strain this before you use it. I strain the fat by using a fine mesh strainer. Some people like to use cheesecloth. I just ladle it out of the pot. And then I squeeze the fat out of the cracklings by pressing with a spoon. People who use cheesecloth will tie a knot in the cheesecloth and just squeeze. What you want is to get as much of the fat as possible out of the cracklings. Now your tallow is ready to use. By now your meat should be ready. You can test it for dryness by snapping it. If it snaps cleanly like a cracker, it is ready to use. If it bends, you need to dehydrate it for a little more. You will need to use a food processor or blender. I use the Ninja Master Prep. The double stacked blade design is ideal for grinding up jerky. Put your jerky in your blender or food processor. With the Ninja, I don't have to worry about how much I put in because the double stacked blade design makes it very easy to do a lot of jerky all at once. Now you're going to grind your jerky. How finely you grind your jerky is really a matter of personal taste. Some people like it very, very finely ground, like sawdust. Other people like it chunkier, with little crunchy bits of steak concentrated and coated in the grease. When your jerky is all ground up, you are going to put it in a big bowl and weigh it. Here we have 16.85 ounces, just a little over a pound. You then want to add an equal weight of tallow to the jerky. So if I had 1 pound of jerky, I want to add 1 pound of tallow. Your digital scale is very helpful for this. When you've added your fat, you want to mix it thoroughly. You want to make sure that all of the pieces of jerky are completely coated with fat. That is one of the things that is going to keep it very non-perishable, able to keep at room temperature for months or even years. When the fat is all mixed in, it's going to look similar to brownie batter. Now your pemmican is ready to mold. You can serve your pemmican in a variety of ways. I find a very useful way to carry it is in these little plastic tubs, because that way I can simply pop it in my bag and it keeps there for a very long time, being wonderfully available when I need emergency fuel. Another fun way to serve pemmican is to make it into mini muffins. I use the mini muffin tin, and since this is the Christmas season, I am actually using little Christmas themed paper liners. Other people like to make it in the regular muffin tin with regular muffin size. When I use the muffin tins with the paper liners, I actually like to weigh my pemmican so that I get a consistent result. For the miniature muffins, I use 3/4 of an ounce, and for the regular size muffins, I use a full 2 ounces. Perfect. This is what a miniature pemmican muffin looks like. And now the pemmican is ready to take to our party. Whether in portable containers or in the cute little mini muffins, you will find pemmican to be a delicious alternative for when you need quick fuel, you don't want to cook, or you happen to be on the move.